Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Coaxium Cantina. I'm Benjamin,
And I'm Aidan.
and in today's video, we are going to be discussing whether Rey could return to Star Wars. When I say could Rey return to Star Wars, Rey as Daisy Ridley. That's what we're going for. This all came about because Daisy Ridley said in an interview that she was asked about returning to Star Wars with Rey, and this was her quote: "I'm always open to a revisit, but also the beautiful thing is it's this wonderful, huge universe with all these stories yet to be told. I think there is a lot of cool things to be made before any potential revisit." And at the end of the day, that is what it is. It's a potential revisit. That in no way, because I've seen some articles that say Rey's returning to Star Wars or Daisy Ridley's coming back. That is in no way saying that she is coming back or that she has plans to come back. And the potential revisit is the important thing there. But what do you think about this whole Rey returning?
Well, I think, with regards to films, that's not possible because that's the end now, film-wise, or so we understand. Or bit of context, end of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
With regards to a series, I'd be hopeful if we got one for her, but I'd want it in the hands of someone like Favreau or Filoni, or someone else like from the Mando team who knows what the fans want and they know how to write the good stuff, because I feel like Rey didn't exactly have the best character in the films, and I feel as though if we got that done properly in a series by someone who knows how to properly direct / write it, then she could become a really good character.
Well, there was another thing I think a while back now that I'm just remembering, and it was something like John Boyega would be up for it, which was really surprising to me. But John Boyega would be up for it if Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac, obviously Rey and Poe, would do it.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking that maybe there could be a Clone Wars-esque series with the sequel trilogy characters.
Oh, so you'd want an animated, not a live action?
Well, I'm thinking that, or maybe not a live action, maybe a live action Clone Wars series, but what I mean by Clone Wars-esque is like it happens not before, not after, but during the trilogy.
Oh, right. Oh, you mean like that.
But the problem is that I think it all happens within the space of 2 years.
Yeah, no, I think if we were to get a series, it would have to be after, and I would agree with having those three together, because they definitely, Poe and Finn, were not done justice in that film, and if it was done properly, that could really fix what went wrong with the films.
I mean, like if they did a series in the middle of the sequel trilogy, and say, so they start with episode 7, and then straight after episode 7, you go in with Rey, you go into episode 8, and then with Finn, you go into episode 8 as well. You only wakes up in episode 8.
Yeah.
So then from episode 8, then there's possibly a little bit of time in between 8 and 9. Which, I mean, technically, if Disney wanted to fix things, they could say that the Rise of Skywalker technically happened like 10 years after episode 8. Technically, there's nothing. from what I can remember, nothing in the films that says this that it's like a year after.
What? Wait, is there a specific date? Is there a after the Battle of Yavin for it?
I will have a look now.
Because yeah, no.
Yeah,
If
no, the Rise of Skywalker happens a year after the Last Jedi, but
right,
there's nothing in the Last Jedi or the Rise of Skywalker that says that it happened a year after.
so they could change the canon
So
date
it
if
could
they wanted to.
technically say that it happened 10 years after, put a show in between,
Hmm.
and maybe make the characters a bit better.
I don't think I'd want some. I know that's just an example, but I don't think I'd want something as drastic as 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd want a decent enough space of time. To be fair, they could probably set the show within a year's time frame, and that would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I feel like there definitely needs to be a show that goes into their characters more, gives them an opportunity to deal with something like loss or struggles, because there was none of that in the
Yeah.
films.
I mean,
They need to have some sense of we failed and there's no coming back from this failure,
yeah.
in a sense of it will just be reversed.
I mean, there's a character. No, this is a really bad example, but you know how the Clone Wars kind of had the Clone Wars movie to kind of set it off, and then it had obviously the movie in the last season to
Yeah.
finish it off. Episode 7, 8, and 9 could act a bit like that,
Yeah.
where they could say that episode 7 and 8 were the kind of setup for the series.
Yeah.
Then the series happens, and then episode 9 is the grand finale.
Mm.
They could. I mean, it's obvious that they weren't planning on doing that, but the way that the sequels went in the end, it could. If the series is released, that's the way that they could recommend you watch it. Like that's
Yeah.
how you're supposed to watch it.
I definitely think a series would probably, well, like you said, it would probably work well intertwined, but I feel like a series for me personally would feel better post the films, because it would feel as though they're not trying to make up for mistakes by adding the bits in between, whereas they're rolling with it afterwards and then they're actually improving.
I mean, they could make an episode 8.5.
Ooh, what, like a part two?
Well, yeah, but the Rise of Skywalker is the part 2.
Well, yeah, true.
So they could make like a setup for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I just feel like looking back at it, The Last Jedi isn't actually that bad.
I mean, it's got some
It's
not
got
so
some
great scenes.
not good scenes in it at all. But also, if you have a series in between episode 8 and 9, you can actually give Rose a character. That's something that she's missing.
And you could actually give some characters the Knights of Ren.
Yes, that's another thing. If they're doing the Kylo Ren series as well, which I extremely hope that they do, because they've got to milk Kylo Ren to the ground, because
that lightsaber's awesome.
I mean, the lightsaber's awesome, and to say that he's the only worthwhile character in the sequel trilogy
would be a stretch.
Probably accurate. And if you know, they had the really annoying thing is about the sequel trilogy is they had good ideas. They have really good ideas. It's just it's a real shame to have all that wasted.
Yeah, no, it is.
And I wouldn't say no to. I know they advertise The Rise of Skywalker as the end of the saga and everything, I wouldn't say no to a series after the Rise of Skywalker either.
Yeah, kind of how like everyone thought Endgame was going to be the end of Phase 3.
It is the
Well,
end of the Infinity Saga.
yeah, technically, but then they kind of rounded it off with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. So, yeah, no, I agree. It definitely would make sense to be able to tie up anything.
Like a lot of people would say, oh yeah, that's just classic Disney, you know, say it's the end when it's not actually the end. But I think that's a different argument because I don't think Disney were expecting it to go down that badly.
Yeah.
And it did go down very badly.
It did.
And some of the things that they didn't do in it, like the concept script aside, just from the ideas they actually had in the film, like they said, like the things that they were hinting at in the actual film, mostly Finn being a Jedi, and they just completely didn't do it.
In my mind, that probably would have made the film 10 times more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I look back on when we watched it for the first time, and there's obviously that hype that's carrying you through the entire time. And then when we watched it together, like I think it was the third time, and we still had that hype there because it was, I mean, we were watching a Star Wars film in the cinema. Like, of course we were going to love it.
I don't care how crap the film is.
Yeah.
If you have loudspeakers on the text scroll, that instantly makes it a good film.
Yeah. And then, whilst we were still enjoying it, because, as I say, it was Star Wars, we were sat there in that third time and we were kind of looking at it like, okay, this doesn't really seem like the best thing to do, or why didn't they pay more attention to that, or what's going on here? And I think that's a real shame when you're in the cinema because you want it to be an enjoyable experience where you're there like, oh, I love this bit, I love this bit, I love this bit, and then you look back on it and you're like, oh, I loved it when this scene came up, that's probably my new favourite scene. But the more we thought about The Rise of Skywalker after watching it, the more we were like, this film isn't exactly what it was said to be.
Yeah. It just, and to be fair, like you have actors like Harrison Ford and I mean, Harrison Ford is probably the most famous example of this. Maybe Natalie Portman that have literally said, "I hate Star Wars. You know, I don't want to be anything anywhere near Star Wars." And to be fair, they have no real reason to hate it. Like, obviously, they have their own reason for hating it, but from my point of view, obviously, they have no reason to hate it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Daisy Ridley, who got bullied so much that she literally had to take her social media presence off. John Boyega and Oscar Isaac, who, from my point of view, genuinely have a reason to hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they're willing to return. That is massive. If Disney don't take advantage of that, I don't know what they're doing. I say Disney, Lucasfilm. But seriously, like, because if most people would have said, I'm not bothering with Star Wars anymore, after, you know, the Star Wars fandom made someone delete their Instagram, delete their social media, which is outrageous. I say the Star Wars fandom. They're not the Star Wars fandom. But they are idiots on social media that claim to be Star Wars fans. But it's like they genuinely have a reason to not come back and forget about it the way that they've been treated. So if they are willing to come back, you have to snap their hand off for that. Like, Disney must be seeing this interview and being going like, we've got to make something with Rey.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just Rey, because, Disney like Rey.
Yeah.
I think that's obvious.
Mm.
Even if it's just Rey, they've got to make something with her. Do something that makes her character just somewhat better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that Daisy Ridley said it in the quote that there's it's going to be a long time before we get a sequel trilogy revisit.
Yeah.
Because they've got so much other things planned. But
at the same time, I think it's something that's needed.
Yeah.
Especially after the reaction we got.
If the actors are willing to do it.
Yeah.
You got to get on that. So you got, I mean, I said earlier, you got John Boyega and Daisy Ridley that both said they'll do it. Which is insane.
Yeah, and Oscar Isaac is meant to be Moon Knight for the MCU anyway, so he still has ties to Disney.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't hate Disney.
Yeah.
I feel like he's supposed to be in something else Disney as well. But might have.
Not sure.
Made that up. But yeah, so it's
it's a difficult one.
If the right people make it, they can actually do it well.
Yeah.
And I think we all know by now who the right people are.
Yeah.
And who the right people most definitely are not.
Yeah, definitely.
And look, the sequel trilogy is what it is, and it's not like they're going to make the 3 films again. No. I completely, no matter how crap the film is, you can't release a film as episode 9 and then say, nah, it's not canon anymore.
Yeah, no, you have to see it through.
That it's there. It's going to be there forever. That's what happens in Star Wars. That's how Star Wars ends. But technically, they could move the ending to the series.
Yeah.
Alright, the sequels may have a bad name by now, but the only way to get off that bad name is to make something good.
Yeah, it's as simple as that, actually. Just take it and care about it.
Yeah, as I said, the ideas in the sequel trilogy are just they're so good that they're annoying that it didn't come off. That's my main issue with the sequel trilogy. It's not that it's just bad. If it was just bad, then that would be, it would be okay, that's bad, but that's not frustrating. The frustrating thing for me is the ideas were so good.
Yeah, they had some brilliant concepts.
Rey was supposed to be the Luke Skywalker-esque person. And, I mean, Luke Skywalker worked. Rey didn't really.
Yeah.
Because she's a bit of a flat character, really. I mean, a stormtrooper that is a Jedi, that is Force sensitive. That's an amazing idea.
That in itself is worth a trilogy.
Yeah.
Just him by himself, because that concept has never been done before, and it's so unique that it would have been a brilliant character arc. Imagine that, being enslaved as a stormtrooper for the First Order, then becoming a rebel, and then learning you're Force sensitive, and then becoming one of the few Jedi left in the galaxy. That could have been the greatest arc ever, and we didn't get it.
No. I mean, Poe Dameron was kind of like the... I feel like he was being set up to be kind of the son that Leia wanted. Instead of Ben Solo.
He did feel very Han Solo-esque quite a lot of the time, a young Han.
But also he had elements of Leia in him as well. I mean, towards episode 8, he definitely did.
Yeah.
And I feel like, again, Poe was what Ben Solo was supposed to be. And I thought that was a really, really interesting arc.
Yeah.
Because if they did Poe successfully, suddenly Kylo Ren becomes that much better as well.
Mm.
Because I mean, it doesn't look good on Leia and Han necessarily, which is probably why they might not have done it.
Yeah.
But if Leia and Han are treating Poe like their son, well, how does that leave their actual son?
Mm.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, well, to be fair, once Episode 7 had finished, I think Leia maybe gave up on Ben.
Yeah.
So she kind of adopted Poe instead. I feel like
Mm.
that doesn't look bad on Leia. At the same time, it's not good for the character of Ben Solo again.
Yeah.
And as I said, Kylo Ren wasn't exactly a bad character. Kylo Ren was one of the best characters in the sequel trilogy,
Yeah.
but he was still not fabulous.
Yeah, no, there was still some things that could have made him a lot better.
And the Knights of Ren. I mean,
Wasted.
what a waste.
Just, ugh.
All of these things can be fixed, or most of these things can be fixed with, I mean, a Knights of Ren series, and Kylo Ren series with the Knights of Ren just before Episode 7.
Yeah.
A Finn series after Episode 9. I guess you could put a Rey series in between Episode 8 and 9 as well.
Yeah. That would probably be the best, because that's when she has the textbooks from Luke and Leia kind of takes over the role as her master. So that's usually the bit where you'd probably say she's made the most development as becoming a Jedi as she can.
Yeah, that might be a
So
bit
that
difficult.
would make a better series.
That might be actually, yeah, because Leia's gonna have to be there, so they're gonna have to find a way around that. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I know they said they wouldn't CGI her, and it's not really CGI. Her daughter.
Yeah,
Her
true.
daughter is literally her. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, I suppose it's not a necessity if Leia's there.
Did
like
you
a
see
one-off.
her daughter do the "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi" speech?
Yeah, you sent it to me.
It was literally exactly the same, and it was scary how similar it was. So, and I think they used her in Episode 9 as well for the young Leia with the Jedi.
Yeah, no, I think they did.
So if they use her voice, then they could possibly get around that. But yeah. Anyway, so overall, while Rey wasn't exactly a good character in the sequel trilogy, I think we would definitely be positive if she was to return.
Yeah, no, I would definitely, if it was announced, I would definitely jump on the hype train of there's going to be a Rey series.
Yeah.
And if it's taken in the capable hands that we've come to know as of late, then I will be all for it. I will actually be excited for it.
I mean, I think, Favreau is obviously live action, and Filoni can do animation so well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind, who's the one that was in Jurassic World? Bryce Dallas Howard or something.
Oh no, she's done some amazing episodes.
Her episode in The Mandalorian was great. If they were to do a Rey series, that would be my choice.
Yeah.
Get her on it.
Yeah, no, because what did Bryce do? She did the ATST.
She did the ATST one.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. After watching the gallery, you really get a sense of like the importance of Star Wars to each director, and it feels like if they were handed a character, even one they might not necessarily know that well, they'd still literally put their heart and soul into it, trying to make it the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we need for the Rey series.
both me and you have said it once, and I think it will be true forever. To be honest, that like even I think we said this when we were talking about Battlefront and Fallen Order. You can tell when something is made by the fans,
Yeah,
by a fan,
yeah,
because they
it's good.
actually care
Yeah.
enough to make it good.
Mm. Yeah.
Not
Yeah. Nowadays, everything's just
how much
money,
money is it going to
not
make.
care. Yeah.
But again, normally the stuff for the fans makes the most money.
It's a simple correlation, yet some big companies don't seem to understand it.
Indeed. Anyway, leave any thoughts that you have on Ray coming back, whether you would be excited or not. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have to say. Is it? Any more?
I believe so. Other than remember to follow the Instagram, of course.
Oh yeah, at the Coaxium Smokers.
Yeah, no, I think
Loads of content coming out at the moment. So there you go.
yeah.
There's the cheap plug of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So goodbye.
Bye.